What is Delta 8 THC? What's up, everybody? Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Ananka, and welcome to my bazaar. Alright, and today I just want to give y'all just for those of you who don't know, just a quick breakdown and a live review of Delta 8 THC. So first right here, the one we're going to be reviewing, the brand is called Delta Boss. Sorry for the shitty quality. This is a gelato indica. But yeah, strain gelato. It's an indica flavor. If you know the difference between sativa and indica, what I've always been told is how to tell the difference is think of indica as couch, which I know sounds. I know it's pretty corny, but like I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, bro, I was like in the couch. I was like, come on, that's corny as fuck. But hey, it's been years since I heard that, and it's still stuck in my head. So if you can't remember just indica's into couch. It's gonna have you chilled, full body high, fucking schlump, right? And the sativa's gonna give you that nice stimulating mind high, or at least it should, you know. But so this is what I think it's a real simple way to tell like what Delta 8 is. So when you think of weed, you know, THC obviously is the chemical that you smoke. Everyone knows THC, right? But most people don't know that THC, that's just obviously it's just the abbreviation for the chemical, but what it really stands for is delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol. So tetrahydrocannabinol obviously being THC, but most people don't realize that first part is delta 9. So whenever you smoke any kind of regular weed, you would consider that delta 9. And so when it comes to chemicals, especially research chemicals, there are different analogs is what you would call them. So for example, you have delta 9 THC, then an analog of that would be delta 8. You can have and this is the theory that me and my friends were coming up with. If there's delta 9, there's delta 8, then shouldn't there be a delta 7, a 6, a 1, a 17? You know what I'm saying? Like all this whole list of deltas. Same thing with LSD. There's LSD, then there's 1P LSD, which would be an analog of that. If you've heard of a K2 or spice, which is the shit that you smoke and you don't want to do it, it's terrible, but that is actually a cannabinoid. It's an analog of THC. So, I mean, it's crazy to think about because think about, like you can smoke weed, you get high, it's nice. You have HHC, which is just coming out, that's nice. You have Delta 8, it's nice. But then, it's just like how, like MDMA, which is ecstasy, stands for methylene dioxymethamphetamine. Now think about that. The end part being methamphetamine. But so there's just a little tweak in front of it. Instead of it just being pure meth, it's methylene dioxy. And when you add that slight chemical change, all of a sudden it goes from being this crazy crackhead tweaker stimulant, stay up for 3 days masturbating for 16 hours until your dick's raw kind of drug, right? And then it goes into MDMA, which is this almost, it's not a true psychedelic, but it is psychedelic in its own right. You get tracers and colors, and it's literally called ecstasy because you just feel pure ecstasy and bliss and love for everything around you. And it's just crazy to think about that. So same thing with like K2. It's still a cannabinoid, but when you smoke weed, you're chilling. You might get a little paranoid. You'll get some munchies. You'll get a little lazy, but that's it. But you smoke K2, and it's like motherfucking like some crackhead salvia. You know what I'm saying? And so, but yeah. So like I said, this is brand Delta Boss, Delta 8 THC, gelato flavor. And so if you've never smoked weed, I mean, I can't really describe to you what weed tastes like, but I'm sure everyone has at least smelled it, But it's that deep skunky, funky, and I mean, it's different for every strain. Like obviously skunk would be that super deep skunk smell. But then if nowadays, since we're getting the quality of weed is getting so high, like you'll smell some shit and it'll smell literally like a citrus fruit, or it'll smell like just straight oranges and sugar. Like it's so crazy nowadays thinking about like, our parents back in the day were smoking like that Mexican dirt weed, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit was like 3% THC. Now we're smoking like 30% THC. You got a nug, it looks like a crystal ball, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, bro. But let's get this live review going, you know what I'm saying? I fucking love the flavor of that shit, man. That's what I was saying earlier. When it comes to weed, obviously, like I described, there is different strains, different flavors, but usually you associate weed with that deep, funky odor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like I said, I don't really know how to describe it, but you know what I'm saying, right? And it goes along same with the taste. But what I've noticed is with Delta 8, to me personally, it tastes like pine trees. Like, if you smell like a pine tree, or like the sap from a pine tree, the pine resin, like, honestly, that's what it tastes like to me, bro. And I would say, honestly, the Delta 8, for me at least, hits a lot harder than just regular weed. But also keep in mind, I've been smoking since I was like 13. So even if you've been smoking as long as me, you know what I'm saying. Like, when you smoke for year after year after year, even if you take a long ass tolerance break, like I could take a tolerance break for a month, and then you come back, you smoke, and you still get hella high, you get hella high, but it's like, it's after your body becomes so acclimated to just smoking all the time. Like, it doesn't matter how long of a tolerance break you take, when you come back, you'll never get the same high as you did when you first started smoking. It's like chasing the dragon. You're never going to get there, bro. So so maybe that's why Delta 8 hits me harder, is because I'm so used to Delta 9, and this is more of, I've only probably been smoking this for like a year or two. And I've really slowed down on my weed consumption over the years. I really only smoke when it's with the homies. But I figured I'd get this and just give you guys a little video and explain what Delta 8 is and give you a little review. But it always hits a lot harder for me. It's much more mentally stimulating. Like, whenever I smoke Delta 8, I get very, like, I literally can feel my brain start buzzing and moving. It's like, and I don't know, honestly, man, I remember when I first started smoking, people be like, "Oh man, I'm so paranoid." Like, they're like, "Oh, I get paranoid," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, they're like, "Oh, if I smoke, I get panic attacks." And always used to think, I'm like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about, bro?" Like, whenever I smoke, I'm just laughing it up. I'm just having a good ass time. But honestly, over the years, as I've gotten older and the more I smoke, like, now like, I'll get so paranoid, like, all, and that it gets better the more, like, I think it's honestly one of those things where it's your body and mind is telling you to stop for now. And if you keep smoking, it's just going to keep giving you a bad reaction. And so you really need to slow down and let your mental, like, you just need to get back to baseline, you need to be grounded. And then, once you do that, you can start smoking again, and you can start enjoying it more. But even now, I can see, like, how if I didn't have as good control over my thoughts, I would start to get paranoid. But it's when you realize, you're like, all right, like, I was so used to not getting paranoid, so now when I do, it hits me like a train, right? Like, I'm like tripping. Oh, I can feel my heart beating, blah, 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 right? But it's like, once you know what you're in for, then it's like you can be relaxed, because you realize you're like, I'm not really paranoid. I'm not really stressed out. It's just because I'm high. You know what I'm saying? And then you can separate the highness from your actual thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So I see. I'm actually, bro, I'm hella high right now. I'm just going on this whole rant, but because the whole video I was really supposed to just describe to you what Delta 8 was. My bad, I went on this whole rant, bro. But I know I already described it at the beginning, but I'll just give you a real quick breakdown at the end. Basically, regular THC equals Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol. So all the different deltas are actually analogs of THC. So Delta 8 is really just, like I said, there's Delta 9 THC, it goes down to Delta 8 THC. You got HHC, you got K2, all these different things. So that was all I was supposed to say in this video. But hey, fuck it, we already made it. We already made the video. So I hope you enjoy. Uh And oh yeah, one more thing. I'm also right after this. I'm gonna be doing a kratom review because I've only done kratom like 3 times. So I got some kratom extract and I got some kratom powder. So after this video is done, I'm gonna do a little live trip report on that. So don't forget to tune in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.